Hi, I'm Lee Iridium. Hope you're doing all right today. It's album review time. Before I go into that album, I just want to say a massive thank you to Odd Crew, the band. Brilliant metal band, sent me this excellent t-shirt. I mean, man, this is instantly one of my favourite t-shirts. Look at that. It's got the Moment single. This is from the Moment single, which is an absolutely brilliant single. You can catch my reaction to this single on the channel, or actually watch the song itself on YouTube. So they're a Bulgarian band, metal band. They've got 2 songs out on YouTube at the moment that are going to come out on their forthcoming album, Morning Lights and The Moment. I've reacted to both of them. They are absolutely fucking brilliant. I love both songs. The album Dark Matters Part 1 is coming out on the 27th of May. You've got to check that band out. They are fucking excellent. So, that's that done. We're going to get on to the album review. So, Rust and Rage. This album's coming out on Frontiers on March the 11th. I got this early from the record company, so thank you very much for that, Frontiers. This is the label debut from this band. So they've had other stuff out, but this is the Frontiers debut, if you like. The album's called One for the Road. This is a hard rock, real melodic album. The band are from Finland. It's got 11 tracks. It's 42 minutes and 59 seconds long. So influences from this band. Well, there's a lot of influences. Reading about them, they are influenced by a lot of 80s stuff. Guns N' Roses, Judas Priest, Motley Crue, Dokken. Although they're influenced by those, or they listen to those bands, it's sort of pinpointing those aspects of them in this band. It's quite hard. I wouldn't say they sound like any of them. I would say Guns N' Roses a slight touch, but they've got elements of all of their own, really. It's hard to pinpoint them, but they're definitely melodic in that 80s groove. Anyone who watches this channel, who knows the stuff that I cover, will love this band, But if I say they sound like Dokken, there might be the odd riff that sounds like Dokken, there might be the odd bit that sounds like Motley Crue, but all of those bands which they grew up listening to, I don't know if I can hear them in their music. All I can say is they sound like a great original, if you like, 80s sounding rock band. This album was produced by Jimmy Westerland. It's a great production on this album. It's almost got a bit of a live feel to it, a real band feel. They're a band, which is cool. There's a lot. I always say there's maybe too many projects these days, coming out where it's not proper bands and people are like from the far ends of the earth. They're just doing their bits of recording. It all comes together. You can feel that this is a proper band, and it's sort of, that comes across in the recording. It sounds quite raw, but clear as well. Obviously, it's a modern production, but it sounds really sort of live, like a live feel. It's a great production, and everything just sounds really good. The drums, especially that snare drum, sounds really punchy on this album. The guitar sounds crunchy. Love the production. Absolutely brilliant. So, going through the band, and I love the names they use. They don't use any surnames, which is good for me. So you've got Vince on the vocals, great vocalist, does loads of sort of high-end screaming, just how you expect sort of that 80s influence coming through. Got a great vocal, great tone. He's got sort of a smooth voice at times. Then he's got a rougher edge to it as well, and the screaming. So he's got a brilliant vocal. You got Johnny on the guitar, really busy on this album. This is a real guitar heavy album. There's just guitaring all over this, riffing, solos, all the things you expect again from an influenced 80s band. Eddie on the bass and Jezzy on the drums. These two guys are really sort of tight. Like I say, this ain't the debut album, this is the Frontiers debut. So, they've been together a while, so they're really tight. The rhythm section's excellent. This really lets the songs breathe. Like I said, melodic rock, melodic hard rock. You need the rhythm section to be just tight, to let the melodies and the songwriting sort of breathe. Absolutely superb, these guys do. Now, there is keys on this album, keyboards, but I there's no one named who actually plays the keys. So it's just a vocalist, guitar, bass and drums. So I'm not sure who does the keyboards, but they are present. Synths are on this album. It's not like all over it. It's a guitar driven album with synths sort of almost adding to atmosphere and depth for the songs. So love this album, guys. It's another solid Frontiers release without a doubt. I mean, anyone who's listened to their singles, the singles have been brilliant and the album lives up to those singles. I do run through my favourite tracks. So first of all, first song right out the gate is Prisoner. I'm a prisoner, let me out of here. This was a single, a huge sounding track, a real fullness to their sound this band have got, and the synths do help in that. Like I said, they're not up front, but they sort of add to the fullness of the band. The verses, and I noticed this when I first did the reaction. I don't know if I noticed it before, while I did the reaction or after, but it's almost got that melody line from the verses in the Scorpion song, Is There Anybody There? It's real, like, once you hear it, you can't unhear it. It's a great vocal melody though. Great chorus, very anthemic, a really well constructed solo, a brilliant opener. And I did mention that song was very anthemic. The band have got that. You can imagine in the live situation, this band are really, really, you know, sing along choruses. Absolutely superb. Prisoner is a great start. Next up, I want to talk about Ghost Town. Heavy guitar driven verses, and they lead their way into sort of an AOR chorus. Very, very catchy again. Some great backing vocals in line again with those 80s influences. You know, if you're going to be like an 80s influenced band, you need to have those backing vocals. They need to be spot on, and this band do it brilliantly. One for the Road, the title track, is the next one I want to talk about. Talk about anthemic. This one may be the most anthemic song on the album. It doesn't get more anthemic than this. A huge sort of folky influenced track that gives a different side to the band, or the different two tracks that we first of all heard. Acoustic guitar just beautifully pushes this slow to medium paced track, almost a sort of kind of Irish tinged track. Absolutely superb and completely different than what we've already heard. The next track I want to talk about is the single, The Future Is For The Strong. Keep your eye on the prize, 'cause the future is for the strong. Great song, great track that sort of reminds me of something out of, you know, the Scandinavian bands are bringing out right now. Eclipse, Heat, that sort of sound in this song. Catchy, melodic rock done at its best. The next one I want to talk about is Heartbreaker. This was the first single from this album. Vocalist just sounds absolutely great in this. The start of the track, there's sort of a bluesy guitar picking over a quiet beginning with the vocals in tow. And it goes into sort of a faster track, sort of up tempo. But the tempo slows down for an absolutely brilliant soaring chorus. I remember when I first heard this song, I thought that chorus is just amazing, and it just gets better and better every time you listen. The next track I want to talk about is I've Had Enough. So great up tempo track that is sort of a lot of fun. It's got a lot of fun in it, this track. A classic heavy rock guitar drives the verses, leading into another real catchy anthemic chorus. The 80s influence is really strong on this track. The next track I want to talk about is Unbreakable. This is the ballad of the album, and it's mainly acoustic guitar and vocals, but there's so much more to it than that. Great vocal melody lines going throughout, really catchy stuff, brilliant backing vocals, and a great build to the song. Even though the band don't fully join in, you can feel the song building with some percussion and stuff. A highlight for sure. Last track I want to talk about is Moving On. This is actually the last track on the album as well. A sort of simple classic rock riff drives this song through the verses with some great synth touches, and the chorus again just doesn't let you down. There's so many huge choruses on this album. It's catchy, an absolutely brilliant track to end the album on. So guys, really recommend this one. Frontiers are really banging out some good albums this year. I think at the moment this year is probably looking stronger than last year release wise. I mean, last year was just amazing. This is another album to add to those great releases. So this is highly recommended, guys. Rust and Rage, One for the Road, coming out March the 11th. Totally recommended. I'll see you soon.